And a very good morning to you. I'm Mark McIntire, your host for today's edition of Voices of Santa Barbara. It's a great morning. I think the rain is finally over, Dr. Dugan. I think it's over. No? Oh. Anyway, we're going to enjoy today because it's bright and sunny. Today we have a fabulous guest, another voice from Santa Barbara. And actually, he was born in Santa Barbara, but he had the good sense to leave when he was 4.
Yep, I'd had it.
Had nothing to do with taxes. He just got the hell out of here. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Peter Otte, O-T-T-E, not to be confused with O-U-G-H-T. The man has a last name that's a verb. I love that.
Yes.
Peter, I've known you for how many? 32 years?
32 years.
32 years, off and on.
That's right.
Yeah, mostly off.
Mostly off.
Peter is the founder and the president and the CEO, the treasurer, the secretary, the floor sweeper of POP.com, right?
Or Peter Ott Productions.
Yeah, now if you put an E after pop, it's Pope. So
That's right.
Pope.
I'm definitely not the Pope.
No, you're not the Pope. Okay. And what do you do? What do you do at pop.com?
I help people promote their businesses online.
Online, I looked you up online, and it says that you make information fly.
I do. I make it fly.
You do. Well, we're going to get into that.
If it doesn't fly, it crashes.
We're going to get into it. So Peter Ott is my special guest today. Thank you so much for listening and spending some time with us. Well, you're probably in the office, or you're mowing the lawn, or you're at the gym. Ooh, my goodness.
Working out.
Yeah, right. That's what I should be doing.
Yeah.
That's what I should be doing. But in any case, so let's get into how you found yourself. You popped out of a womb.
Yes.
Popped out of a womb.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I cried.
You had nothing to do with deciding anything about that, right?
I had nothing to do with the decision.
Okay. By the way, your last name, Ott, is that Danish or Swedish? Or?
It's Dutch, actually.
Oh, it's Dutch.
That's right. Oh. So...
that's right. We're going to talk about Amsterdam.
We are going to talk. It was a 3 to 4 year segment of my life.
Yeah.
But
so you were born here. You pop out of a womb. You last 4 years, and then what do you take off to?
So I was hanging around La Cañada, Flintridge for a long time, and went to school in Claremont McKenna College. I'm fast forwarding.
I had a girlfriend who used to pronounce it La Cañada, Flintwood.
Well, it's a little village. It still is. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But it's a lovely place.
I think Santa Barbara's superior.
Yeah,
to me. It's closer to the ocean.
Yeah, well, we paid you to say that, of course.
Well, yeah. You did. Was I supposed to disclose that?
Wait a minute. Did you move to La Cañada, Flintridge?
We did. In 1967.
Uh-huh.
So at the time... I decided to go with Dad and the rest of my siblings and Mom, and he'd taken a job with Unical. So in those days, Unical had the tallest building in downtown Los Angeles, a whopping 13 stories.
Wow.
And
scraping the sky.
Scraping the sky, that's right.
Literally.
Because anything above that was
actually
seismic
scraping
risks.
the smog.
Or creating it.
Creating the smog, right.
But he was on the other side of the energy revolution, which was geothermal. He was one of the pioneers of geothermal energy. Do you know anything about geothermal energy?
I know nothing about geothermal.
Geothermal
I can figure
energy,
it out from the Latin.
Let me tell you.
Geo, which is earth, and thermal, which is hot.
Or heat, yeah.
Or heat, hot earth stuff.
So briefly, my father was a geologist, so of course I grew up learning this stuff, even though I am not.
Yeah.
But in the Earth's crust, there are pockets of high temperature steam, and they drill down to unleash it.
Yeah.
And then it powers turbines, and that's how it generates electricity. We have in Santa Rosa, there is a geothermal operation called the geysers, and in different places, anywhere there is some volcanic activity, there's usually some geothermal reserves. So and it's clean. It's clean electricity.
Yeah, so the geysers we see at Yellowstone National Park, these are geothermal.
Yeah, but that's a national park, so they can't exploit that.
Right,
Yeah.
they can't.
Thanks to Teddy Roosevelt, I believe.
They can't make any money out of it.
No,
right?
they can't make any money. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So your father was a geothermal engineer.
That's right. He built the division, and so and in the winters we would go up to ski at Mammoth, and we would go along the Owens Valley, and we'd get the entire history of how that valley was formed and how it was at one time a vast sea. And
it was?
Yeah, and there are fossils that you can find.
It was an ocean?
Death Valley was underwater. And
That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
Mammoth Mountain itself is the edge of a caldera. And and I think, I forget the exact, but it's somewhere around 110,000 years ago, there was a massive explosion, much bigger than Mount St. Helens.
Right. I was a child then, of course.
Yes, that's right.
I don't remember very much of that at all.
But anyway,
I'm fascinated by the geology. Someone once told me, I had him on the show, and they once told me that 40 million years ago, you could walk from the Mission all the way out to Anacapa Island.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Where the pygmy mastodons were.
With the pygmy
frolicking.
mastodons.
Yes.
Right. But they've all been shot now, haven't they, from the air?
Well, there was a separation over the years.
I don't understand why nobody can go out to the Channel Islands, because we're preserving it. What are we preserving it for? I don't know.
The Channel Red Foxes, or whatever they're called.
What did they go out and they shot? Feral pigs.
Oh, right. Feral
Remember?
pigs. Yeah. Well, you remember more than I do.
But I wasn't invited to the barbecue. I didn't get that. I don't know. I didn't get that invitation.
Yeah, nor did I.
Yeah. So anyway, your father is a geothermal.
He passed away last year.
Oh,
96.
96. That's a good life. Mm-hmm. That's a good life. Yeah.
Incidentally, one of his associates at Caltech, where he went, passed away a few weeks ago. Do you know have you heard of Dr. Gelman?
No.
He was
Gelman, M-A-N-N?
Gell-MANN. He passed away recently, and his son was a classmate of mine at Polytechnic. But Dr. Gelman discovered, first of all, he organized the subatomic universe into a category of 8, and it was based on the Buddhist notion of the Eightfold Path, actually. I guess he was a Buddhist himself.
Oh, he was a Buddhist.
At least had some affinity for it.
Yeah.
But he also discovered the quark, which is, do you know anything about quark?
I don't know them personally. I've never met one.
But
I've never dated
within
one.
you.
And I would not let my daughter marry one, unless, quirks are lesbians. Of course, in that case, I would let her marry.
Okay.
California.
Then they're quirks.
Yeah, they're quirky. Yeah. They're quirky. I'm not going to go there. I think we should end that right
yes,
there.
Let's end that right there.
You've just introduced two topics that are in our upcoming segment. So you're going to want to stay with. Yeah, we're going to talk about Buddhism.
Are we? Okay.
And we're going to talk about your education at Claremont.
Okay. Excellent.
And how many minutes do we have before our break here? We got 2 minutes. I just want to finish up. So you're now married.
Yes, I am.
Yes, and you have 3 children.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I've been married about 18 years.
18 years.
And I have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl.
2 boys and a girl.
Patrick, Henry, and Sophie.
And their ages are approximately
17, 15, and 10.
17, 15, and 10. You know, very few dads actually can remember the ages.
Well, they struggle with the birthdays.
Yeah, they do.
That's it.
But if you ask
the anniversary,
you ask the mother how old 15 kids are, she can tell you exactly.
Yes,
write down all 15. It's like I don't know. And men are supposed to be very quantifiable. I don't know. I understand that.
Well, it is, and I'm very proud of them.
Right.
So they're doing very well.
So when did you return to
Santa Barbara?
Santa Barbara. Yeah.
So that was in 2007.
Yeah.
So in the intervening years, during the 90s, I worked in magazine publishing and also in advertising and design. And then I decided that's it. On my 29th birthday, I decided this is the time when I really need to act on one of my ambitions, and that is to move to Holland, where my father was born, and really discover Dutch culture, learn Dutch language, because I don't know if you noticed, but not many schools teach Dutch. It's kind of unusual language.
No.
And I went, and I had a terrific time. I really learned a lot, and then managed to go. In fact, one of the places, when you're in Holland's very centrally located, so you get to visit other countries.
Yeah.
Something that we're not as familiar with here in America.
Right. People confuse Holland with the other Scandinavian countries. I don't even know if Holland is considered a Scandinavian country. Is it?
No. I don't think
Yeah,
it is. I
yeah,
don't think it is.
yeah.
It's the Netherlands. So
Yeah,
it's,
the Netherlands.
they call it.
I love the word Netherlands because if from the Latin, Netherlands, which means the below land.
Well, have you heard of the abbreviation Benelux?
No.
So that's Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Okay. So the Scandinavian countries are really Sweden, Norway, and Finland.
So they're north. They're north of Holland.
That's right. And Denmark. Let's not forget Denmark.
No, we can't forget Denmark.
Solvang.
The Solvang and Zodenkirkegård. my favorite.
So tell me about Zodenkirkegård.
Zoden
A leap of faith.
Kierkegaard, yes. Truth is subjectivity of faith. Yes, of course, we are doing that. In any case, okay, so I tell you what, let's take our break now and we'll pick up with Amsterdam.
Okay.
What was life like for you in Amsterdam?
Absolutely.
And how long did you stay and why did you leave? Anyway, I am Mark McIntire and this is Voices of Santa Barbara, and we'll be right back on KZSB. If you only knew what we were talking about during the break, you would probably turn the dial off. But now we're going to fill you in because now we've got you. We've really got you. Now we're going to go to Amsterdam, and Peter Otte, O-T-T-E, by the way, he's going to take us to Amsterdam because he moved out of California to go to Amsterdam because his father was born there.
So this was on the eve of my 30th birthday in 1993. And I had made all the preparations. Everything was organized. My dad took me to the airport, and it was kind of a tearful farewell. I get a little choked up when I think about it, even now. And then I'm on the plane. Flight was uneventful, terrific. Landed in Amsterdam, and my cousin, who's also named Peter, was supposed to meet me there. And I'm waiting. An hour goes by, another hour. 3 hours go by.
3 hours?
I call him. There's no answer at his phone. So I take a cab, and I say, I need to go to 154 Vondelstraat. Vondelstraat is on the Vondelpark. The Vondelpark is like...
Vondelstraat.
It's like Amsterdam's Central Park.
Right.
And it's quite something. Anyways, I'm taken there, and I'm dropped off, and I go up, march up to the door, knock on the door, and he comes, and looks hungover, and I'm like, weren't you supposed to pick me up at the airport? And
was
he
there
said,
a strange cloud of smoke around his head?
Yes, and he
Right,
it kind of encircled him like a smoky
green
halo.
Smoke. It was
Yes,
green smoke.
and I said, Peter, where were you?
Wait, his name is Peter too?
Yes.
Okay.
Peter Lanshoff.
Peter.
Yeah, Peter. Actually, it's Peter. Peter.
Peter. Why are you so stoned, Peter? You don't pick me up at the airport. What are you going to do?
Yeah, except I did it while throwing my bags to the ground. And pick them up.
Pick
some
up
respect.
bags. Yeah, put bags in the house.
So then he completely forgot.
Oh, he just...
And he made me. The Dutch always make a cup of tea whenever they have a guest. It's just automatic.
Right.
So we sat down to tea, and then he explained to his daughter that I was going to be staying in her room.
Oh, with her?
No, he was going to move her somewhere else, and she was not happy about this.
She
I
didn't
got
find
off.
out until that very moment.
Until
right?
that very moment.
That very moment.
So that was my welcome. But I did manage to find a place, and
Unbelievable.
in a place called New South or New Zout, and it was interesting. It is a newer part of Amsterdam, built in the 1920s and 30s. And it was around the corner from the school administration building where the SS, Gestapo, had their headquarters for during the occupation.
Yeah.
Germany invaded in 1940 in May. And so just walking around Amsterdam, I learned a number of things. And some are familiar to everyone. Like, for example, the Anne Frank House, the canals,
Right.
and so forth. But there are other places that were just really striking, and the museums, of course, but also some of the other places that just sort of hidden from view, and I just learned an incredible amount. And one of my favorite memories was I'm a singer, and
she was
so
singing
wherever I go, I can. Oh yeah, I'm currently singing with Opera Santa Barbara in the chorus, and love it.
But you have to wait until the fat lady stops singing.
Yes, that's right. Why is that? And who is this fat lady?
Who is this fat lady? You can't say fat. You can't say fat anymore.
Oh, you can't?
No. It's politically incorrect.
Okay.
No. You could be arrested. If this were the UK, you could be thrown in jail for saying that.
Really? What can you say?
Nothing.
Okay.
Dr. Dugan told you. You're on radio. Say nothing. You cannot stop talking.
Okay, he's making a gesture right now. I'm not sure it's friendly.
Add more fingers, okay?
Yes.
We want to see more fingers over
More
there.
fingers. Okay.
Anyway, so you're a singer.
So what that means is that I can go just about anywhere and
sing.
And hopefully not. But they're always looking for someone to join a chorus. And so that was quite something to sing Beethoven's Ninth in the
No kidding.
Concertgebouw.
You had the chance to do that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And sang in that, and that was with a really good conductor named Hartmut Henken, a German conductor.
Hartmut Henken?
Who's presently I believe he's still the director of the Dutch Opera. But in any case, just really interesting things like that. And I got to know there are a lot of little bookshops in Amsterdam, and that's a tradition that goes back centuries, back to the time of Spinoza. And
the lens grinder.
Yes.
Yes, the Jewish lens grinder, yeah. Spinoza. But a theist, nevertheless.
Oh, you got to love Spinoza.
Oh, you got to love Spinoza. I love Baruch. His name is Baruch Spinoza.
That's right.
Spinoza.
Yeah.
Now, I love the fact that, when you first began this conversation about Amsterdam, you said, but I was staying in the newer part of Amsterdam. It was built in the 20s and the 30s.
But then I moved.
Wait a minute. This is the newer part of Amsterdam?
But then I moved.
Didn't they build anything in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s? So apparently not.
One of the unusual characteristics of Amsterdam is that it's a medieval city.
Yes, I know.
And most European capitals are no longer medieval cities. They've had fires. They had Napoleon.
Yeah, just burned down the Notre Dame Cathedral. Burn that place down.
Yeah, that's a tragedy.
I know.
But Paris really isn't a medieval city, except for a couple of cathedrals here and there. I
love the Louvre and then the IMP pyramid in the middle of the Louvre. This is the perfect symbol.
IMP, amazing architect.
Amazing. He designed the Kennedy Library in Boston.
Okay.
He did so many great things. Yeah. But to put that glass pyramid in the middle of the courtyard,
it's genius. And it's awesome underneath as well.
But it's also a symbol of the fact that Paris is no longer a medieval city.
And what is it? It's a modern city.
Well, it's an atheist city. Atheist city.
Secular.
Oh, you and your euphemisms. Yes. I want to flip back to...
You can't say atheist anymore. You might get arrested.
That's right. I might get arrested. Well, it's not the UK. I can still say atheist here. Yeah.
Okay.
As long as you don't say it pejoratively.
Okay.
If I say atheist, like it's thrilling to be an atheist, right? But if I said atheist, you can hear the difference,
Is there such a thing as a militant atheist?
Yes, there are militant atheists. They'll fight you. They'll beat you over the head with a baseball bat. Yeah, until you become an atheist. Right.
All right.
Right. But I only deal with the pacifist atheists.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
They're sometimes known as agnostics. Right. They don't know anything. I love AJ.
I sense a segue coming.
Oh no, AJ. We're gonna go back to your Amsterdam story. I just want to. We got 2 minutes. We're gonna go right back to the Amsterdam thing. So you're there in Amsterdam. You're singing Beethoven's Ninth. You're going to shop for books by Baruch Spinoza in the bookstores
and supporting myself. With a meager income as a freelance writer, I worked out a deal with the magazines that I could.
Now, you had already worked as a writer, haven't you?
And editor, that's right.
Where was that?
So that was first with a publisher named Larry Flint.
No.
Yes.
Larry Flint?
Yes.
The Larry Flint?
Yes, the Larry Flint.
You wrote for Larry Flint's magazine?
Yes, about laptops.
Oh. Sure. Oh.
It was called PC Laptop Magazine.
I know that. I know that magazine. I used to write for that too. In fact, you gave me a job writing.
I tried to, Mark.
All right, you tried to, and I washed out.
Except you rambled on about Spinoza and Kierkegaard.
I'm easily distracted. Okay? I'm easily distracted. Anyway, my guest today is Peter Ott. We're having way too much fun, but this is our Reconnect here. Reconnect Day on the Voices of Santa Barbara. I am Mark McIntire's KZSB AM 1290. We'll be right back. So, Peter, we're here with Peter Ott, O-T-T-E, not to be confused with O-U-G-H-T, which is an imperative. Oh.
Ott.
Peter Ott to tell us about his days at Claremont.
So, this is where I want to talk a little bit about reconnecting.
Ah, good.
Because I think it's a really important theme.
Yes.
Last December, I got a phone call that a dear friend of mine, who was my professor at Claremont McKenna College, Dr. Michael Riley, passed away. And I had kept in touch with him, but I could, the few phone calls that I'd had with him over the last few years, you could tell that his mind was failing a little bit. He was in
fading.
decline.
He was fading.
He was
Yeah.
fading.
Yeah.
So I did a couple of things. Number one, I was asked to help write an obituary, which I did. And I contacted the Alumni Magazine, which I did. And then I hadn't been to Claremont in over a decade, at least 15 years. And I went back because we decided to organize like a little Athenaeum tea.
You were an English and a film major, correct?
I was a literature major, but he taught film and
Script
literature.
writing?
And no, not script writing. It wasn't production. It was film criticism.
Oh,
and his best class was called Film and the Novel, and he talked about things like Mindscreen, and we studied films by Nicholas Roeg and Joseph Losey and some others.
Good films.
Really good.
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola. And he obviously meant a great deal to me, and I reconnected with Claremont McKenna, and wow, it has grown so much. It's developed. The physical campus is amazing. And also just I got to know, I reconnected with some of my professors who were there. It was an alumni reunion for a different year, but I got to meet some other younger students who were coming back, and it was just a great moment. I realized at that time that it's so important to reconnect with
your past,
important points in your past, like your institutions, not the mental ones, but the
I can
the
speak to that.
academic
I can
ones.
speak to that. Yeah.
So in that
Because
case,
the past
yes.
is responsible for where you are today.
Yeah,
And so is that the main reason why you
I
went
think
to
it
Western?
is,
Yeah.
and the people. The people who, it's not the institution itself, it's not the buildings and the quads and so forth.
Right.
It's the teachers, the ones who opened up our minds to
spirit,
new ideas.
the spirit of the place.
The spirit of the place, yeah I agree. And I think that Mike's spirit lives on in a sense, at least for me and for the other students who really cherished his film and the novel class, and
well, it's a real testimony and a tribute to Mike Riley, Professor Michael Riley. The fact that so many years later, you would carry him in your memory so much so that you went back to Claremont. Not only did you reconnect, but you also staged a memorial service.
That's right, but very informal. It was very informal.
Gathering, yeah.
A gathering, really.
Yeah.
And it was an opportunity to see some old classmates again and find out what they were up to.
And some new, younger people.
That's right. And so my offer to you was, I would like to take you, Mark, to Claremont someday and show you the campus and introduce you to some of the professors there.
They have a thing called the Athenaeum, correct?
That's right, the Athenaeum, and I'd love for you to see that.
Yeah, the Athenaeum, for those who are not Greek scholars, is a it's sort of like a library, but it's an active place for discussion. For the
adherents of Athena.
Yes,
perhaps?
for the adherents of Athena,
and the goddess of wisdom.
Goddess of wisdom, right? Yeah. who fought in a couple of wars.
Yeah, she was a warrior
She
goddess.
never put down her shield or her sword. She never did that.
Yeah, but she sprung from the mind of Zeus.
Yes, indeed. So one of the things that's always impressed me about you is that you are very comfortable with opposing ideas.
Absolutely.
I can flip I can replay the video. I can rewind the video of our live 32 years ago, and we had the most wonderful conversations, which is rare in Los Angeles. Okay, because in LA is where do you live, what car do you drive, and what have you done for me in the last 2 seconds? Those are the three things.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And when are you going to get a Botox? That's the other thing.
Oh, I haven't heard that question as often.
Yeah.
But certainly, what do you do for a living is
Oh, your
one of the first
face looks
questions.
darling, beautiful. Oh, it's so nice. Yeah. Anyway, you're no stranger to opposing views, and you got that at Claremont.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because at Claremont, there is a conservative bias at the school.
Yeah.
Among a number of
I think they would
professors.
admit that.
Yeah, the political science department and also the economics department and so forth. But it's a liberal arts school, and it's a community of colleges. There are 5 undergraduate colleges, and so we're encouraged to take courses at the other colleges, which I did. I took music at Scripps. I took literature class at Pomona. And
Philosophy? Did you take philosophy classes?
I did, but it was at CMC. With Professor John Roth, who is an expert in the Holocaust.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's right. And wonderful teacher. And so I think that one has to remain open to opposing views. And if you find, I was thinking about this today, and I'm not sure if you would agree with this, but everyone has principles. They live by principles. They feel that it underlies our decisions and what's important and what we value. But I sometimes wonder if our principles can sometimes limit us, and so that it's a lens that we can only see things a certain way. And I think what I want to challenge myself to do is to challenge those limitations. And one way to do that is by reconnecting to everyone and find out. And sometimes someone might say, I got a call yesterday, and it was a business matter. And my immediate reaction was indignation, and it was veering towards anger. And I don't need to go into the details of it.
No.
I think you understand the sort of basic thing.
Yeah.
We've all gotten calls like this where someone demands something that wasn't part of the deal or whatever. And so why did I respond that way? Why did I feel that anger building up? And I didn't explode or anything. I was very civil and professional. But I woke up this morning, I thought, what if I just turned this around? What if I helped him? Why not? And so that spirit of
openness.
Just openness, and maybe I can't help them, but at least be open to it,
Right.
rather than shutting that door.
Right.
So that to me is what reconnecting is about. It's trying to break through those limitations that we may not be conscious of.
Well, actually, I do agree with the thesis, your thesis that in some cases our principles and our values do get in our way and do limit us if they are held dogmatically and if they are held in absolute terms. There probably are absolute principles and absolute values. But finding them and knowing them is another matter, because we are imperfect beings and we stumble along, I like to put it, with the certainty of a sleepwalker. We sort of feel our way through life as though we were walking in our sleep. And
guided by these principles,
well,
but not with our eyes, perhaps.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with Alex Madagian, who's my podcast partner, and he's in Washington, D.C., and he was asking me about, have I changed my principles and values since I was his age? He's 21. And I had to think about it because, I have changed some of my principles and values, but not essentially. Not that I've twisted them and tweaked them refined them. I've drilled down deeper into them. But I'm still of the same set of values that I was when I was 21. Although I have had to re-register politically throughout all of the political parties because I don't like to be branded. And I also have an estrangement with Catholicism for the very same reason. And we can get into that because our next segment I want to talk to you about. You were once a practicing Buddhist.
Okay.
And we could, because I think that your Claremont experience plus your Buddhism is the man I'm seeing and the man we're listening to right now. Am I right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's take our little break a little bit earlier here, Dr. Dugan. And just to remind you that this this program will be rebroadcast this evening at 8 p.m. and then on Saturday at 4 p.m. And we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Nice of you to join us today. I'm Mark McIntire. This is Voices of Santa Barbara, and my guest today is a 32-year friend of mine. His name is Peter Otte, and we're just reconnecting. The name of the theme today here on Voices of Santa Barbara is the importance of reconnecting with your past and the people of your past because they are responsible in large measure. Not saying causality here,
Yes.
but they are in large measure responsible for who you are today.
That's right.
Now, so at Claremont, you majored in literature
That's
and film. And you got to experience the opposition of ideas, which is why you're so comfortable with it. You're one of the few people that I know that can argue both sides of or many sides of a question without getting upset, without losing his mind, unlike me. But now I want to talk to you about another facet of your life, which I think has really helped you to deal with emotional reactions to especially other people. And that is for when I knew you 32 years ago, you were a practicing Buddhist. Why were you attracted to that? And where are you today with respect to Buddhism?
Well, it's because of the people that I knew. And I found it interesting. At the time, so this was in the late 1980s, early 1990s. It was mostly for the decade of the 80s. There still is a movement of Buddhism, and for that from Japan. And Buddhism itself is a subject that's so enormous. I can't claim to be an authority. There are multiple sects of SECTS.
Thank you. I was about to do that.
Okay.
For you filthy-minded people out there.
So a friend of mine wanted me to come to a meeting, and I did, and I found it very intriguing. And I thought, I think I could learn a few things here, and I think I can challenge myself and learn some new ideas. And there was a daily practice involved, and it did not involve a divinity necessarily. It was more reflective than that, and it was more about challenging one's limitations. And one of the favorite term that I had at that time was a term that involved challenging your limitations, and it was called human revolution. And basically, this is a pacifistic view, not a military revolution. It's just the change from within and on the path to enlightenment. And it's a path that really intrigued me a lot. I thought, wow, I would really like to discover what enlightenment is all about. Well, I was naive. And I was naive in a lot of ways. And the first way that I was naive was the fact that enlightenment, at least as a Buddhist sees it, is not something that one can achieve overnight, in a week or a month, which for an Angelino, this is the now culture, okay? I want it in pill form, okay? I want to add it to my morning
Or you got to be able to smoke it.
Yeah, or I want to smoke it.
Exactly.
There's a book in that.
Now, just I want to pause for 1 second.
Sure.
Is according to the sect of Buddhism that you belonged to at one time, was enlightenment attainable on a permanent status? In other words, could one become enlightened for the rest of one's life? Is it a destination?
I think that it's more about the path and it's more about the journey.
So
I
it's
think
a
it's
method.
a dynamic. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a dynamic view of the universe, not what I would say maybe call an absolutist, or you reach a destination and there you've arrived.
Right.
I think it's a dynamic view, and that is another thing that I found very intriguing, which is the fact that this is an ongoing process of let's say, refinement of character, and I like that very much. And so, at a certain point, I think another reason what I was naive about was the fact that with any organization, there's always a threat, what I would call a collectivist threat, which a groupthink, and that turned me off. And I thought it's very important to me to have my own views and to explore those views by interacting with others, other intelligent people. And I sensed that there was a little bit of dogma creeping in. And then another number of things happened. So I wouldn't say that it was a falling out. I kept in touch with a number of the people. But I thought at a certain point, my next move was really to leave. And then I met Geraldine, and we
That's
had
your
a
wife.
family. That's my
your
wife.
yeah.
That's right.
And she's French, is she?
She's French. Born in Venezuela.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Her father is from Normandy. Her mother from Paris, or I might have gotten those messed up. But both of those are French cities, so I'm not far off.
Right. Now, was she a practicing Buddhist?
No.
No.
But she was attending another style of Buddhism, which involved meditation and reflection. And I think it was more of the Tibetan style Buddhism. And I thought, oh, that's really intriguing. So we had something to talk about.
Yeah.
And it was very reflective, and she would share with me some of the things that she was working on. And she had a very stressful career in the fashion industry.
Oh.
And it's a fast-paced, high-pressure type of career. And then right around September 11th, she had a flight. She had to go to France for a trade show, and basically she just realized at that point, I want to change my life, and I want to be a mother, and I want to take care of my kids, and let's see if we can figure out an alternate way or path, if you were.
Path, yeah.
And so that's what happened, and then that was around 2001, and then eventually in 2007, the next adventure was to move to Santa Barbara. That was, for us, an adventure. It was either that or San Marino, and San Marino was just down the street, and it had a lot of attractive features, great schools.
Why did you choose Santa Barbara, though? Was there any particular reason, or was it a generalized reason?
So beautiful here.
Well,
I came for the air. I came for the air, and I was born here, so it was a reconnection of sorts. But I think a lot of people who live here now weren't born here, and I'm not a nativist or anything like that. I don't believe that that somehow if you're born in Santa Barbara that gives you a special status. Although I think that's important to others. I think if you can just afford a mortgage, that's a major accomplishment.
Yeah,
but
and to tie in as we finish this segment, to tie in your Buddhist experience. I've noticed that here in Santa Barbara, and I think it's a national, international trend, religions are debranding. They are taking the brand name off, except the Jews and the Catholics are the only two that are holding on. But I think the Catholics are about to slip away, because I've written a blog on the last pope is the next pope. And
there are a lot of challenges right now in the Catholic Church, from my point of view.
Yeah, but all churches are experiencing, I think, this problem with dogma, and this problem with here are immutable principles that can never change, and immutable values, rather than recognizing that individuals are imperfect and that any state that I'm at now is subject to change, because I don't have the truth. I don't have all the answers. I'd like to, but I'm pretty sure I don't have them.
I can confirm that you don't, Mark.
Thank you. I'm so happy to hear you say that. You're fired. Okay, we're ending the show right now. I'll do the last segment myself, actually. Our last segment is, of course, the legacy segment, which everyone loves. And we'll take an early break now, Dr. Dugan, and we'll be right back with Peter Otte on KZSB. And we're back for the final segment. We call this the legacy segment. I'm with Peter Otte, a friend of mine for the last 32 years, on and off. And I'm happy to hear him say that Mark McIntire does not have all the truth. Does not. I'm happy about that. Anyway,
just not all the answers.
Yeah, well, I have answers, but they're not truthful ones. They're fake answers, okay?
But delivered with conviction.
Oh, passion and conviction, yeah. As my 7th grade teacher always said, Mark is often in error, but never in doubt. Ever. No, never in doubt.
I agree with her.
Yeah. Sister Mary, Holy Ghost. And, we haven't talked about your business. I mean, how do you make information fly in your business?
I work with a small group of clients, and it's mostly referrals. And usually they come to me because they need help with X, and it usually is computer related. And I forgot to mention this, for me this is kind of interesting, but when I was at Claremont, one of the things I loved was that I was able to explore different majors. I was able to go up to the window and peek inside and see, is that for me? And talk to a professor who was a chair and say, should I major in math? I like calculus. What's the rest of math like? And I said, no. I don't think I want to major.
No.
And I was also looking at an engineering major. They had a 3-2 program with Stanford. And that's how I came into Claremont. I thought I was going to be an engineer. I ended up a literature major, but I think the computer aspect of my career is related to the engineering impulse. And I like to communicate with people. I think I make technology a little more accessible for my clients, and I think I listen well and I understand what their goals are, and I can help manage their expectations. I think any entrepreneur wants to be successful, but we've got to find a path.
Yeah, because of your Claremont education, you have the skills, abilities, interests, and temperaments to analyze problems and propose solutions, and to even think through opposing ideas and solutions. And from your Buddhist experience and your family, you've learned patience in this.
Actually, Mark, I would disagree with you on
good,
one point.
good.
And
good.
The reason is that I think it has less to do with the Buddhism and more to do with the fact that you were the one who introduced me to technology. So you have to rewind that.
Now I'm to blame.
Way back when, many people may not be aware of the fact, but Mark used to be a computer consultant.
Yeah, a guru to the stars.
A guru to the stars.
Right.
And,
no, seriously.
I had just been fired by a film producer, the late film producer Martin Ransohoff.
Right.
I was a script reader at the time because I thought I wanted a career in film, and I decided I did not like Hollywood. And I met Mark, and Mark said, a couple of things. First of all, you need to think about money, Peter. You're pursuing your dreams, but you've got to make a living. That was the first thing you taught me. The second thing you taught me was, you have a natural aptitude for computers. Take advantage of that. And I thought, what? I do. I really like these things.
Yeah.
In those days, this was back in the day of the floppy drive, okay, and the 5 1/4-inch
and
disc.
The dot matrix printer, which sounded like a 50 caliber machine gun.
I would like to take a floppy disk, gold plate it, and put it in lucite. And put that on my mantle. Just
I'd be happy to autograph it
days.
for you because I have several that I use as coffee coasters on my coffee table. And they make excellent coasters right now. That's how you got in, because you started working for micro-age computers.
Micro-age computers.
And then you got a job with PC Laptop Magazine.
That was Larry Flint we were talking about.
Larry Flint. And so just to tie all these things together.
Yeah.
So one
thing led to another. And then I ended up working for various magazines. Kurtco Publishing, they published another magazine called Mobile Office. Kurtco is now located in Malibu, and they are known for the Rob Report. That publication, and a few other publications, but that's their big one. In any case, so fast forward to the future, to the present.
Fast forward to the future.
And I'm going to come back to the present.
No, stay in the future.
Okay. So let me tell you what's
More
coming
exciting.
on the world of technology. No.
Yeah.
I think that you played an instrumental role in terms of getting me to focus on technology because I had that was a revelation of sorts. And I think that
And you were self-taught.
Self-taught, yes.
Yeah, because you see, you learned how to learn on your own without needing a teacher.
Right. So
And you're an exceptional person because of that.
Claremont taught me how to think.
Right.
And once you know how to think,
Right.
you can learn.
You can do anything.
And thank
You can
God
do
for the internet because there are
It's out there.
so many tutorials and so many courses that you can self-study and advance. So that's kind of bringing me up to the present, I think.
Is that
designer.
where you see technology going? People learning how to learn on their own?
That's a really interesting question because in this age of students going to college and being saddled with hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well,
of debt.
fewer and fewer of them are going to college, I can tell you that. At City College, we went from 20,000 students 23 years ago to now 15,000 students now. And there are a lot of reasons that you're talking about. Anyway, we've got to wrap this up. We've got about 30 seconds.
It's a shame.
Thank you for the reconnect.
I want to come back.
We're going to
You
have
to
one.
invite me back.
Let's do one just about technology.
Okay, that's good.
Now that everybody knows who the hell you are, we'll just talk about what you do and what's going to happen. Anyway, thanks for being with us, Peter Otte, the proprietor of POP, Peter Otte Productions. I'm Mark McIntire. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time on Voices of Santa Barbara.